Boom! Welcome to this Coach's Corner series. This is a video taken from the 4th of January, talking about how we can make health and well-being a priority for ourselves in 2021, but also how to make change in a positive way that doesn't overwhelm or paralyze us. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you think anyone else would benefit from it, please share it with them and share the love. Enjoy the rest of the video. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first Coach's Corner of the year. Bright, fresh, January, as always. That influx of new year, new me thought process, mindsets that come on that often can not only inspire us, but also derail us very, very quickly. And then as we all know, by February can kind of have this whole, what's going on? So kind of Grace and I had a little bit of a chat beforehand, and we just wanted to set the scene for January and the year ahead and kind of set up what we're going to be doing, but also to really kind of give you some food for thought, excuse the pun, on how to really influence and take action around really attacking the rest of this month and attacking this year from a positive point of view of our well-being. But also the importantly is not getting overwhelmed with all the information and all the action that could be taken, kind of scaring you into a paralyzed state. Something that is opened up quite a lot is this idea of a growth mindset, which I'm going to smile at Grace about because I'm about to throw her this hand grenade and just say, you work with it. Is that all right with you, Grace?
Yeah, that's perfect. So Jake has nicely opened this can of worms. So basically, the growth mindset is something that's become really popular. It's been quite probably a newer thing in psychology over the last sort of 10 to 15 years, maybe 20, but it's become really ingrained in more popular culture over probably the last 5 years, maybe even less than that. But basically what we're talking about with growth mindset is where this isn't necessary, and this is where it kind of links in a bit with toxic positivity. So you don't have to be positive all the time because frankly we're not designed to be that way anyway. A growth mindset is about the ability to analyze when things don't go wrong and how can we use that to propel us forward. So I guess the growth mindset is a little bit like a bow and arrow almost. So it's about using those setbacks, like when you pull back, to propel you forward. And ultimately that's what a growth mindset is, and it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. But if people would find it useful, I'm happy to kind of give a couple of examples, and I'll type them out and put them in as a post. But yeah, basically that's essentially what it is. It's about not seeing failures as this horrific disaster, but using them as a way to learn and to move forward and the important thing is in your own time as well. Having a growth mindset doesn't suddenly mean you're gonna zoom off to the moon. It's like just at your own pace, like you're not suddenly gonna take off.
I think it's something that comes into it is quite often is, and you talk about toxic positivity there, which I think is a really cool thing to kind of tie in with this, is that especially right now as we go into this week, it can feel like we need to be this super positive, active, healthy person to win January, right? It's kind of this badge of honor that has seemed to have come up quite a lot. And I think often, like when people talk about growth mindset, it's almost like you shouldn't be doing this and you should be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this and you should be doing this. And it can, I think personally, I feel like it can fake us out quite a little bit. And my very oversimplified way of looking at it is it's simply just a willingness to make change. And to review that. So it doesn't necessarily mean you, and like you said, it doesn't mean you change everything. It doesn't mean that you make massive changes straight away, and then you try and ride the coattails of them to get to whatever you want to get out of your health, well-being, mental state, relaxation. It could even be financial goals. It doesn't have to be massive things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't stick to what you know in other areas. Because often I can see, like today, I've received about 4 or 5 emails where people have been like, don't stick to what you know, do something different. And while yes, it's not wrong, but also it doesn't necessarily have to mean you drop everything you know to do everything differently. And I think that kind of ties into what we were talking about as well, Grace, was that how it's right now, it can be very easy to get overwhelmed if we're having that, and I know it's like a buzzword for me, all or nothing thinking, but that I need to make all of these changes for Jan, and then I'm going to ride them through the rest of the year, and then it can overwhelm us with the amount of changes we're trying to pile up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and basically all that happens is, so we call it the boom and bust cycle, is that it's the beginning of January, you want to do X, so I've reviewed my goals for what I want to achieve for the next 12 months, but I'm not going to be achieving them all in January.
Yeah.
Because what happens is everyone gets really overexcited. The whole New Year, new me bullshit, because I think I hate that term. I think it's absolute crap. It's not about a new you. It's about being empowered and creating a life that you enjoy. You're still the same person inside. So that I don't like that phrase.
It's so important we get beyond that, isn't it? It's about getting beyond the new year, new me, beyond the January motivation, and actually to small daily actions which like you say, enrich our lives, not just also by the number that's on the scale or by the vegetables you put in your mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens, everybody wants to change all these things, achieve it all in one go, all in January. So everybody has this massive boom of activity, and then you just get really fatigued. And so you hit a bust period, and then you have to recover, but then you can't go up as high. And then you then you get fatigued, it takes longer to recover. And if you've already got other health conditions, whether they be physical, mental health, anything like that, your fatigue and your bust period are going to be far more difficult, and you're going to experience them more quickly. So that's why the small daily actions are, and kind of pacing yourself in achieving your goals will actually help you achieve them more successfully.
I think it's, so you say there, the small daily actions, which certainly in my coaching, so I lean on hugely, is the idea that if there are a large group of things that you're looking to change, is choose a few. So it's kind of identify and choose a few, and it doesn't even need to be that the change you make is the end change. It could be you break a change down to small things. For example, in terms of if you're trying to transform your nutrition habits and trying to eat more healthily, or what more appears more healthily, if you're trying to add more vegetables in or more variety in, don't suddenly go and try and add them into every meal in large volumes. Some ways that may be easy, others maybe not. And it's just look at what you can do. So just focus on one meal and improve that one meal. And then once you've got that meal improved over a week, then move to the next meal, and then move to the next meal. It can be ways of breaking it down, so it doesn't necessarily have to be everything at once, even in just one goal space.
Absolutely.
Exercise, we've always talked about, steps, and that being the first and the paramount before going and doing 5 HIIT classes a week. Like, it's the same breakdown. And something, just a personal journey that that I'm taking, is that I'm committed this year to meditating daily, getting a good night's sleep, and journaling. So kind of 3 things that I've picked up. Now, I didn't have a good night's sleep last night. So, but within that, I know that, right, I'm committed to meditating daily. So I've done that. And to be honest, I'm not going to journal this week at all. I'm going to write, right, let's just tick the box, those 7 sessions of meditation. And once I've done those and I can do those easy. Then I'll add the journaling in on top. But
Yeah,
I'm not going and
exactly.
putting them all at the same time. So that's just a personal experience of what I'm doing, in the same way of trying to implement that small daily action.
And that's basically the perfect example of how I would work with clients as well, even when it's not the new year. So often when people want to make a lifestyle change, it does encompass a lot of different things. And it is just about doing small things. So we might even go as, depending on the good thing about this is you can meet yourself where you're at now.
Mm.
So it could be that, like, oh, haven't this foam rolling, I hate it, I just cannot do it. So for me, it is a case of, okay, I'm going to start foam rolling 3 days a week and then work up from there, rather than doing 7 days. So that's a different way that you can like build things up as well, is also by doing things less days a week, and then building up, just as a, but you just got to figure out what works for you. And I think, again, that's where the growth mindset comes in, because it's okay if something doesn't work. Like, you might try meditating in a certain way, and I know we're going to come on to meditation in more depth in one of the later sessions in this sort of block. It's fine, like it might not work it might not work for you to sit in the same place, or you might like to do it in silence, whereas I might like to do it with the sound of the sea in the background. And it's okay to try it and for it to not work. And that's again linked to that growth mindset, is to not be put off by something not working.
Yeah.
So.
I think it relies on that idea of, it's just about being open for change. And that does mean that you might get things wrong, and then you need to change that thing. And it's not being too attached on getting things wrong either, because nothing is going to be perfect from whatever action you take going forward. It just might not work out, or it might not suit your routine and how you like to do it. It does mean that, any change takes a little bit of effort. So just because your alarm's gone off half an hour earlier, you're like, this life isn't really for me. It does take a little bit of effort. That's not what we're saying, but just those actions to try new things and moving beyond the unknown. And it is a stretch of comfort zone, and those comfort zone stretches are there. Just thinking, if the idea of this January buzz has you feeling a little overwhelmed, it's good just to take stock, reset, and kind of go, right, what am I, and we've talked about loads, but what are my non-negotiables? What must I carry out for myself? And then what am I a little bit flexible on, that I can allow a bit of flexibility to create it as a new habit and a new way of being, and a new kind of paradigm for our own selves, and how we see ourselves, and whether that's as a healthy individual, how our vision of ourselves can get attached to that quite as well. There's just something within that.
Yeah, crikey, we've gone through that quite succinctly there, Jake. I'm impressed with us.
This is a good start to the year. This is a good start to the commitment of the year. I like it.
So we'll see how we go next week.
Yeah, we'll see how we go next week. Grace, before I talk about the excitement of what is coming over the next 6 weeks, is there any kind of final thoughts on that you want to share? Anything like success for the next coming weeks for individuals from your side? Anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing that I would share with you is, if you have New Year, New Me written anywhere, get rid of it. No, just make sure you understand what you mean by that, if you do want to use that term. I realise I was quite harsh about it earlier, but just understand that you are changing, you're improving aspects of yourself, but there's nothing wrong with the aspects of yourself that are already there. I would perhaps give you a call to action around maybe actually starting to look, if you haven't done, that's fine, like we don't have to do everything on January the 1st. You can make changes to your lifestyle any day of the year, and that would be to potentially look at like what things you do want to change this year. And that's fine if they start out quite broad, because it will be hard to just come up with something really narrow to begin with. So maybe have a look at what you want to achieve in terms of your sort of like well-being and lifestyle. And then hopefully the next 6 weeks of content, which Jake is about to cover, might help you narrow that down a little bit of what you want to achieve. But I think having some broad goals to start with will help you start to find some direction. So I would encourage you to try and come up with some of those. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace. Wise as always. As you come through.